I already started, bro.
It's already starting as it is.
We already know
We're
who
live,
it is,
man.
Go
man.
out the frame and come back in. There you go.
Yeah,
Hold on.
we're already rolling. You don't have to be off camera to put the mask on. We already know how you look.
Do
Bro,
you though?
self-incriminated.
Right? Hey, I just got hot. I was like, hold up. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, that looks warm.
But yeah, you're wearing a freaking mask. I don't know how long you can keep that on. Let's see if you can keep it through the whole pod.
This SoCal heat, bro. All right,
Now
let's
you
get
challenged
into
me.
it. So,
That'd be it. Anyways, move
all
on.
right. Welcome to another episode of the Chosen Podcast.
Laggy.
We appreciate we have two awesome guests hopping on with us today. We have Chris Big Body Ferrati and Jay Redmond. Everybody just came back from Powerlifting American Nationals over in Atlanta. Had a couple athletes compete, as well as Jay himself competed. So want to really just run through what that experience was like, how everything went, expectation-wise, if it measured up, and then get into more of your personal experience. I know y'all got a little something going on the side, so we can definitely dive into that. I want to kick us off by introducing you so everybody knows who we're talking to. So, Chris, if you want to start us off, give us a quick spiel about yourself.
Yeah, how's it going, everyone? My name is Christian Ferrati. Sometimes go by the nickname of Coach Big Body. I'm from Flexx Training Systems. Been coaching with this team for about 7 years now. And definitely happy to be on here and shoot some shots and talk some shop.
Love to hear it. Jay, over to you.
What's up, guys? My name is Jay Redmond. I go by Jay Red. What? Sorry, guys. So this is going to be my third year competing in powerlifting. I played football before. I also coach powerlifting under Peak Performance Lifting, and I'm part of Team Pumpskie. That was it for me.
Awesome. Love to hear it. And then we had Matt and Andrew both went to Atlanta for one of the chosen athletes, Quentin. So if you guys could start us off, what was the experience like in Atlanta overall?
So I was talking to Sean back at the gym about this, but we've been to a few nationals that we've competed or we've handled, and the whole 9 yards. But it felt different. It was so much energy, and it felt like such a special nationals compared to ones in years past. Handling Quentin was awesome. He's just always really good energy, and when he's in game day mode, it makes it really easy to work with him. Like he doesn't ask for much, so it was just a really good time. We have some stuff that we plan on cleaning up so that he can do even better next competition. But I'd say another highlight is just being able to see like everyone I know in the powerlifting community just in one spot. Like people that are from other states or like up north or whatever, and you just get to catch up like it's just one giant powerlifting reunion. So that was part two. And then the other part of it was I had the opportunity to see like prime time from not like the spectator perspective, but in the back. So Chris, the rest of the Flex team, Joey, they were all handling some of their primetime lifters. And to me, that was really special to see. Me and Matt were like loading plays. We're like, let's just make ourselves useful for a little bit. And
Even though we were so tired, but we were just like, fuck it, let's do it.
I have no idea how people handle nationals for like a week straight of just loading and calling. And I mean, I know it's crunch time, but dang, it's exhausting. But it was a really good experience. Would you say it's the same, Matt?
Yeah, I would say like this Nats, because being to a couple of them, especially in the USAPL Federation, this one felt a little bit much more different for sure. I agree with you on that. Going in mostly was just for obviously like the experience, getting to see everybody again, like familiar faces all the time, seeing a lot of crazy people lift like crazy amounts of weight, like especially like when we got there on Friday, we just basically like threw our stuff at the hotel, went to prime time, and we just see freaking Joe Bornstein just demolish the 83s like with that 900 kg total. And then not even just that, just seeing everybody there. But also the next day when we had to handle Q, obviously my job was just like, let's change it up a bit. Let's have him hand, because we know how Q does on game day. He's always focused. You just tell him what he has to do, and that's it. Very simple. my focus was more so like, let's get some key points of like, how does he feel after every lift by getting that done with filming and getting him mic'd up, just in the process of like, at that moment, how does he feel after hitting his squats, after he hits his bench, and then after he hits his deadlifts. But that's what I think was crazy about Nats is it's just way different, and it felt just like very exciting to be there with everyone you interact with.
For sure, that totally makes sense, and I appreciate those answers. To actually build on one comment Andrew made about being there for a while, Chris, I know there was a ton of Flexx athletes there. How long were you there, and what is it like juggling all of those different athletes and weight selections and attempts and warm-ups and things like that?
Yeah, I had the privilege of coaching and handling for all sessions throughout all 4 days. You just have to be very organized and very on top of your timing. You're communicating, like whether you're at the Airbnb or if you're in a hotel, you're communicating all day long because you have multiple different athletes that may be working to make weight and doing big gut cuts or water loads or what have you. You're checking on athletes, seeing how they're feeling. While that's going on, you got athletes competing, and while that's happening, you have also the other athletes who are going to compete later in the week that are still finishing out their tapers. Um, and so it's just about organization and things that matter. And in terms of like just to kind of give you guys some answers or insight on how do you handle just going nonstop every single day, and then with all of this, as a coach, you still have to get back to your messages from the rest of your team. You still have to make sure that your programs are being created and sent out and distributed correctly. And a lot of times, what I work to do is make sure that all my blocks are done before the week comes, or at least I have like some week ones or week 1 and 2s that are distributed. That way, athletes are not missing out on any work. You're coaching in person, and everything outside of being in that state, in that city, and doing in-person handling and coaching. All operations are happening with your athletes that are abroad. Um, so yeah, in terms of coaching in person, it was extremely fun. You're incredibly locked in. For myself personally, um, I've had to do Arnold's championships and big exhibition meets with no sleep before. And I've also done a couple USAPL national meets where we've won championships with myself, the assistant coaches, and the athletes of Flexx, where I've had absolutely no sleep as well. And you kind of just, I don't know, it's like an adrenaline thing, but also when you prepare so much, you don't really think about how you're tired or you're lacking sleep. I don't know if this is the correct term, but the delirium, right? Being delirious, it kind of you don't feel it until everything's done. So after just many years of doing this, you just get used to like locking yourself in a venue from the crack of dawn all the way until like 11 at night. Um, I think the more you do that, your body and mind gets used to it. Now, if you are operating in a championship setting with sleep, oh man, that's like a luxury. But all that is to say, I think for Saturday's session, I was working with, I want to say 3 hours of sleep, and Sunday session, I was working with 2 hours of sleep. So that was like when I was, working with some of my athletes or some of the other Flexx athletes, I was telling them, I was like, you guys usually get me, with no sleep, and we're still performing at the highest level possible. You got me with 2 hours, so it's gonna be real good today. But no, I mean with Matt and Andrew being there, it was awesome. They were a great help. I think that they've been putting their feet in the work, out there in meets, and I've seen them over the past couple years working to just do the work and actually get the experience in person. So that was a very huge help for them to spot load, and it allowed the rest of the coaches that needed to give second opinions and do calculations in super clutch, very small windows of time duration where we have to make those decisions. It allowed us to do that a lot better. And that's what you kind of want, right? Like when you're handling and you're in really tight battles, you need a team. A lot of people talk about how uh, powerlifting is like an individualistic sport, and it's just the lifter and the coach. That couldn't be farther from the truth. It's still a sport. It's still a big team setting, and when you have, excuse me, when you have multiple top level lifters that are competing for first or podium, second, third, whatever the case may be, all hands on deck helps more because then it allows you to delegate and it allows you to focus solely more on just 1 to 2 tasks rather than trying to spread yourself thin. Um, so yeah, hopefully that answers your questions.
Yeah, it definitely does. And it sounds like when you're in the moment, it's kind of a revolving door of you're constantly doing something, whether it's for the athletes that are there in person or the ones that are home just following their program. So I love that answer. And to turn the page to the mindset of the athlete, Jay, obviously you competed. What was the experience like for you? Did it live up to expectations, or how did the day go for you?
It was a great experience. It was it was fun trying to balance like being a spectator and taking everything in on top of making sure that I was prepared to execute on the day that I needed to compete. Since I was competing on Sunday, the last day, so um, and it was like my first time traveling across country, and then my first time traveling by myself since like probably like 10 plus years. So normally I travel with my girlfriend and she handles everything and I just get to go and just walk through everything. But like I was by myself, so I was like I was a little all over the place. But once I got to the city, I was able to settle down once, I got with Sean and Big Body. And then I think Friday night I was like dealing with cramping. So I was learning how to balance that. So I make sure to balance my electrolytes and my hydration. And yeah, I was just ready for the day. Like it was a great time. I met a bunch of the competitors that I talked to over Instagram leading up to it. So I was friendly in the beginning, and then once we got into this stuff, that's when I had to switch it on and get into the Mamba mentality. But overall, it was a great experience. Decent day. I mean, wish it would have been a better day, but I learned a lot, and now it's back to work and getting ready for the next competition.
Definitely. And that was actually the next question I was going to ask. So you kind of segued into that perfectly. What's one thing you learned either about yourself or about the sport over the course of that weekend?
I learned how to lock in. I thought I was locking in before, but now I know like how to just sit and zone in and go out and execute. I had like 2 instances. I had my third squat where I had to lock in and get it right, or I was gonna leave with like what 560 squat or something. I don't even know. I don't remember what I opened with. And then my last deadlift, I was able to enter just like a different zone because normally I know my numbers going out to the platform, but Sean was like, I'm not even going to tell you what I loaded. Just go and do it. So I made sure not to check lift and cast. I made sure not to look at the screen. And I just sat there and I just went to like a different place. And I haven't done that before in powerlifting. I used to do it in football back in the day, but like now I know how to sit there and get to a different space to like just go out and execute. Well, I didn't really execute the lift, but you know, we'll do better next time.
Can I ask what that space is like for you? I'll tell you what mine looks like after, but I want to know what headspace you're in as an athlete. Like what that locked in looked like for you.
Like really, I was finally just able to clear my mind. I went so normally each prep I have a different song that I do. So this prep was whacked out murals. So from probably lift the first lift to the seventh lift, it was whacked out murals. And then once I got to that final deadlift, no, I think it was actually squat and bench. I did whacked out murals by Kendrick. And then when I got to deadlifts, I did Count Me Out, which has like been my song. So I just put the song on. I was like, stop talking to me. I don't care. The coaches, they're trying to tell you, hey, remember this, do that. And like up until that point, I had been listening to everything they were saying, but it started to make me more anxious. This was the first competition I went into where I actually wasn't anxious. I wasn't nervous. I was like, I'm here. do my job, go home. So I just went. It was just like a space where it's just like, look, nothing else exists in the moment. You just need to go out, lift this weight, get it up, try to make sure it's clean, do your job, and then after that you can celebrate or whatever. So I came out of that space just a tad bit too early. Once I finished the lift and I was going down, that's when I came out and I got too excited. But it was different. I was always like wondering how to get to that space, but now I get it.
Drew, what's that space like for you?
Well, I was just gonna say, I feel like I'm glad you're able to find what that is, because I feel like some I feel like what differentiates a really good athlete from just a good athlete, like a great versus a good, is being able to have that headspace. Like the mentality is that last little bit of factor that's going to push you over the top. Because when you have those clutch moments that you really need to show up, they're not afraid. If anything, they're even more hyper focused in that moment. Matt will be able to attest to this after, but on meet day, I am not a really pleasant person to be around. Like Leanne knows, she's like, I'm just gonna stay out in the crowd and just kick it because I know you don't want to really talk to anyone. I just sit there angry for like 4 hours straight, and I try and after third squat, third bench, I really try and relax and not think about lifting or whatever anymore. But other than that, I'm kind of just sitting down, zoned out, just stewing in it and anger for no good reason. And I don't like that about end meet day, but it just happens. I just end up being this really focused and angry person. And then and as soon as I hit a third, then I'm like, okay, cool, I can relax until I warm up. I don't know. Is that what you see on the outside, Matt? Because Matt's handled me a couple times at this point.
I think every time I've handled you at a meet, it's always the same emotions you bring in. Because usually when we see you, you're always that friendly, happy guy that you have conversations with us, you have fun lifting, but then that's one mentality you have in training. The moment you're in a competition setting or for nationals, every time we see you, you're so locked in that you don't want to get bothered by anybody and you just want to execute your lifts and not miss. You have a different focus when it comes to actually hitting your 9 lifts and going for the 9 for 9 goal. And it's funny. I remember Leanne going, I remember what was it, back in Memphis, Leanne going is Andrew okay? And I'm like, oh yeah, he's fine. He's just locked in. Just don't bother him right now. Let's just make sure he hits his 3 benches, and then after his 3 benches, then go talk to him, because then he'll just be like, hey, I got all 3 of my lifts. Oh, there's my wife. Let me go see her. You went from, I just remember you going from super angry after the 3rd bench to when you saw Leanne, you're like, oh, hey, babe, how you doing? I'm like, bro, this guy just did an instant switch like nothing. Bro, it's different though. It's different though, handling you for sure. But it's very simple, I would say, because I just look at the notes you give me of what your warm-ups are going to be like, what attempts we're going to go for, and based on how you perform on the platform, I just determine what jump you're going to take. I don't tell you, and you just go and lift it when you go for the 2nd or 3rd attempt.
And it makes it real easy for me, right? That's I think we can all attest to having a handler. It's so nice when you don't have to think, you don't have to be in the coach's or handler's shoes. You just get to be the athlete for the day. You're like, whatever's on that bar, I'm going to fucking move it to the best of my ability and it's going to fly. That's all you have to think about. And it's the easiest day ever.
Exactly.
Boost for once instead of having to be really super calculated as an athlete during training. Oh no, we lost body.
We lost him?
I was about to ask him a question too.
Oh no. We were about to ask him. The door.
Okay, let me see if I could resend him.
Maybe you could resend him the link and he'll just jump back on.
But we'll just keep it going.
But yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'll add to that.
It says his video stopped due to an incoming call. He's joining back up right now.
The incoming call made him cancel out the app. That's crazy, actually.
Honestly,
when you think about it.
Can you guys hear me?
I'll add to that though. I feel like I'm pretty similar to Andrew in that sense. Not necessarily angry, but just very like locked into myself. And again, Andrew's my coach and he's handled me 3 times at this point. And I have those big Bose noise canceling headphones to the point where like Andrew could be right in front of my face talking to me and I have no idea what he's saying. So he'll always just give me like hand signals like 2 minutes, 2 minutes. I'm like, okay, cool. And then to your point, Jay, of locking in, music is huge as well. I heard a Kobe quote where he listens to the Halloween theme song on or used to listen to the Halloween theme song on repeat. And Andrew didn't believe me when I told him this. And I handed him my headset and it was like third attempt deadlift. And he put it up to his ear and it was just the Halloween theme song on repeat. He was like, "You're a psychopath, bro." I mean,
I was like,
gotta try it out.
You gotta try it out.
The reason behind it is because a lot of people will get very emotional going into that big moment, and emotion isn't going to help you. You really want muscle memory to take over and go cruise control into that lift. And so by being cold and emotionless, Michael Myers, you have the mask on, whatever mindset you want to get into, that level of locked in is what's going to help you get to where you want to be on that lift and get rid of all those other variables and just break it down to you're either going to lift the weight or you aren't. And you won't have any excuses of, oh, I was in my own head, or oh, this happened, that happened. I can't believe they did this. And it's just, can you lift the weight or not? The question I was going to ask Chris, I guess, Andrew, I'll shoot this to you instead, being that you've handled quite a bit as well. When it comes to an athlete needing to lock in as a coach and a handler, do you have any advice on helping them get to that phase?
It's really a case by case. As long as they can find themselves in the right headspace, they don't have to have this super intense mentality. And some people just never get to that place, and they don't need to. So I try and assess based off of their personality.
Back in?
You're back in. You're back in. Can you hear us?
I've been back in this whole time.
Nobody's back.
It went out.
Yes, he is. He's in.
Can you guys hear me? See me?
I can hear you.
I see you. I see you.
Okay. Sorry.
I can hear it. I can hear it. See you.
I got a FaceTime call and it just took me
I
completely
hear
out.
him, but yeah, I don't see it.
It's okay. It says
just swipe, Jay. Just keep swiping. You'll see him.
Mine says there's only 4 people in here.
As long as mine can see 5 and you guys can hear him, we're in good shape. It will upload.
I can't hear him, so.
Body, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you guys.
Okay, we'll just continue on. If the video doesn't show, it's okay. It will it'll catch up later.
All right.
But yeah, for me, it's about assessing what that specific athlete needs. So like Mike, I can relate to how you hyper lock in and focus. You don't really want to talk much. I just let you stay in your own headspace because as that type of athlete, that's what I would want. Other people are a little bit more anxious, a little bit more nervous. And for them, it's helping them understand what comes next. Reducing and eliminating that element of surprise, especially for the newer athletes who've never competed before, that makes them feel very comfortable. If they can foresee the next 5 steps, as much as they need to know to be comfortable, then they're going to be, they're not going to be in the headspace of anxious. They're just going to focus on what they think they need to do, which is lift them. And to me, being able to assess a person's, an athlete's personality quickly, especially when you have just met them, sometimes it's your first time meeting them in person, is a really important aspect of being a good game day handler.
Definitely, yeah. It's for sure very individualized. And with something like that, you want to cater your programming and conversations and tone and everything specifically to the athlete. And part of that uncertainty, of course, is going to revolve around weight selection. So, Chris, for, again, someone with quite a few clients, when you're putting together like openers and second attempt, high end, low end, third attempt, high end, low end, what does the conversation look like? I know every athlete's going to be different, but what's the conversation look like between you and an athlete of like, here's what I expect to have on the day. Here's what could be a high end depending on how you're feeling, so on and so forth. What's that look like to you?
A lot of the time, how my roster works is, we have conversations prior to coming into the meet. And on meet day, there should be no questioning. There should be absolutely zero questioning. The lifter needs to lift, and then the coach will go ahead and do the coach's job, right? If we've discussed all that we've needed to discuss prior to the day, it allows us to go in and just perform, right? And it allows us to just not have to worry about all this extra thinking, because all the planning and preparation has been done prior to competing, right? And having to call numbers on the fly. Um, the way that I like to do it is,
I'll just add it.
He cut out, but I think as long as it's still, you still there, body?
yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yeah, it cut out for a second. I'm not sure if it's your connection or not.
I mean, it says my connection is pretty fine. I don't know if it's because I'm outside, but I'll go ahead and mimic what I said really quickly again. So pretty much what I was saying was we should have had conversations prior to coming into meet day. Um, there should be no overthinking or doubt or questioning on the day, because you don't have time for that. You don't have time to doubt and overthink things. So the way that, I've been able to have a lot of success over time in winning meets, helping athletes hit their goals, whether it be they want to get first place, go to worlds, win nationals, podium, hit that 9 for 9 day, hit their all-time PR goals, whatever the case may be, right? Whatever it is for either lift or the total, you should come into the day and you and your lifter should be able to look each other in the eyes and be on the same page. There should be no doubt
Just
or
like you're
questioning,
going.
period. I can't mimic that enough or stress that enough. Um, so with that being said, those conversations are had and the preparation and that type of work is done prior to coming into meet day. That way that, again, when you're competing, it's literally you assess bar speed, you and your athlete have a few uh, conversations, and then you make your call. Um, a lot of the times, that's how I've found the greatest success. Before, I used to ask my athletes, and I talk with them still. Um, I still have the particular conversations, but you're not always going to. There's many times where, because of whatever happens on meet day, there are variables that you will never be able to account for on the day. You cannot foresee the future. You can try to. Are we good? Am I still here?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
'Cause
if you
yeah, it says
disconnect, keep recording and save to your phone and upload later. So just keep it running.
okay. So as I was saying,
I just lost him.
um,
I,
there
I,
are
I lost him
variables that will
completely, but
come
I
to
think he's gonna
play
come back
on
in
the
a sec.
day, and it could be something as far as what if a side ref faints or something, and the meet day gets delayed, or you know, you can tell your athletes 100 times, bring water, bring your rehydration, recomp packaging, right? Bring baby powder, and they don't have it. So you're gonna have to find ways to remedy all those particular issues. Um, you know what I mean? So whatever the case may be, maybe I don't know. Like for instance, at this nationals, some lifters checked it or got weighed in like at the very last minute because equipment checks took way longer than they have, I would say, the past 3 years at nationals. And so it's like, how could you account for that? But you just have to be ready for, like, the more meets you do in person and the more national and world level meets you do on that stage, on that level, um, it gets you ready for all the potential scenarios that could take place, which then allows you to get even better at adapting on the fly, and calling what you have on the day. That's the hard part, is like, especially when you're in the big time battles, is are you able to make the right calls, and are you able to speak with your lifter, look them in the eye, and just say, we're gonna live and die with particular calls. Um, when you can do that and be on the same page with the lifter with those type of decisions, you, it decreases the notion of like, oh, if you weren't successful, it's, oh man, we should have done XYZ. This was the scenario. We both came to agreement on this call, and we live with that, right? If you are successful, then it's, holy crap, we succeeded. We're excited. It's hella fun, right?
I think we may have lost the body. I don't
Did
hear
we
him.
lose it? Yeah, did we lose him completely?
Yeah, I think we were hearing him a second ago, and connection faded a little bit.
He hasn't been on my screen for like 3 minutes.
Yeah, he hasn't been on my screen at all.
I
think
couldn't hear
he
anything
was
either.
gone. Yeah, like every time he would talk, it would just be like bing, bing, and like he's gone. I can't hear him no more.
I could very faintly hear him through someone else's speaker.
Yeah, like it would just start doing a static and then pause, and then I'd be like, he's gone. He's all gone.
But I mean, to keep it rolling, I know we're talking a lot about game plans and things like that. And Jay, from the athlete's perspective, again, you competed. Were there any like spur of the moment tweaks or adjustments that you had to make, and how did they end up going on the day?
It was basically on bench. I just showed up flat. The Q had said something, I think Saturday, about the bench pad being softer, and I didn't think it was going to affect me as much as it did, but it threw me off a little bit. I couldn't really find my positioning. My touch point was different, so like my bench, I just even though my second looked decent, it to me it felt like way harder. And I thought like
Mm-hmm.
regardless, I was like, okay, I'll still be good for like 450. Which if I didn't if I didn't revert back to old habits, I probably would have like just grinded it out. But on the way up, I thought they were gonna grab it, so I was like, I got it, and like broke my brace, so that threw it out. But I think that was the main one, was bench, just trying to figure out what's going on. I was like trying to find a video. I was trying to look at the video and like be prepared, and the flight was moving so fast that I was like, my head was a little spinning. So I think it was a combination of like the bench, and also that's the heaviest I've pushed squat like ever. I just didn't have enough juice, and then yeah, I think that was pretty much it. Just trying to figure out what was happening on bench.
Got it. The old I got it is the commercial gym spotter special. Don't touch that bar unless I'm about to die.
Yeah, but like when you're
We
starting to push
grinded that
that
crap
much,
out.
yeah, you just grind it out and you don't say nothing. You hold your brace, and then they're professional. Like they're all great spotters, and they do this. They've done it all day. They've done it all week. So it's like they know when to grab the bar. It's no need to do that at that type of level in any competition. But I had thought back.
No,
I think
yeah.
it was Saturday. They grabbed someone's bar a little bit early, so I got a little nervous. I was like, oh. And then like in the moment, it feels a lot longer than it may be in real time. So in the moment when I'm setting up or I'm lifting, it feels like more time than it is. And then when you look at it, it was just like, oh, it was a second, bro. Like you were stuck there for just a little bit. All you have to do is just do your job. But it's a learning experience. I learned it in the gym, and it's like just go to the platform, trust your technique, trust your spotters, and do your job. And they'll grab it whenever they
Yeah.
need to.
No need to change anything up at that point. Just try to execute and grind it out if you have to.
Yeah, so another yes, another bad bench day.
The
I don't
bench
Did
think
you
it's
feel
bad
special,
any?
bench day, man.
sheesh.
If I bench, would you throw up
Did you
for
435.
435?
Oh, that's
kilos?
it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's it.
But Jay,
Well,
when you laid on the bench,
when you
did
bench
you feel
for
any? Jay, when you laid on the bench, did you feel like this is from Q's perspective? He said when he laid on the bench, he felt like he was on a decline. Did you feel anything like that at all when you laid on that bench and you were trying to execute for the rep?
yeah, and I couldn't figure it out. Like even in the warm up room, I was trying to figure out. That's why like my touch point was just moving up. Like I was touching on my belly, and normally I don't touch that high up, so it threw off everything. Like my bar path, everything that was out of whack, and I couldn't adjust in
Right.
time. But it was basically like doing a decline bench, and I haven't done a decline bench in like 4 or 5 years at this point. So I guess I got to
Just
program
trying to
some
go.
decline.
That's what Q was.
Well, we were being trained on a TSS rack most of the damn time, or the Ghost rack. So we're used to just training on that. We're never adjusted to how an Alico bench actually is. And Q said decline. Now you're saying it felt like a decline, and you felt like your bar path, instead of your belly, you're hitting your top chest. That's like, yeah, that's a big difference for sure. But we got to work with what we got at that point and try to execute as planned, or
No,
keep it
exactly.
on the
Like
low
there's no
end.
excuses.
That's that's it.
I think that's
But
the mentality to have. Like, it's great to have the competition equipment and be used to it. It's just unfortunate that like sometimes you don't. And as a competitor, you just have to do what you can, what is within your power and compensate or adjust on the day, which is like what Body was saying earlier, right? Like there are variables that sometimes you can foresee and sometimes you can't foresee, and sometimes you can work around them, and sometimes you just got to take what's there and do the best that you can.
Yeah.
Um, and that squishy pad was so to me. Um, I've benched on an Eleiko, but I don't bench 500 pounds, so I'm not feeling the squish into the pad nearly as much as like Q or UJ. Like you guys are, that's really making a big difference. Like the amount of compression of that pad is going to be different for someone that's benching double body weight at 100 pounds versus someone who's benching damn near 450 pounds. You know,
We're
Yeah.
back.
you're back, yes sir.
Oh,
Jesus.
he's in.
All
but
Let's
to
right.
see.
touch up on that, I mean, yeah, like warming up, I think what I did 1, 2, 3 reds. So up to 340 or 370, like it was fine. 407 was fine. Even the 435 was fine, even though my touch point was off. It's just, yeah, you go over the 440 mark and then it gets a little more iffier because, the weight's heavier. But also, it was a combination of the bench, but it was also like a combination of just running out of fuel. Like I never squatted that heavy before and benched on the same day. So it's some things we're gonna work on. We're gonna try out different benches. I was told that the ghost rack that we have in the gym, that bench is like the most similar to the Alico, even though even like when primetime came in, they were saying like, yo, this new Alico pad is just different. And also it wasn't even just the softness. That pad was like really narrow. So like I'm a bigger guy, my back is bigger. I wasn't able to really get all my power. So it's not an excuse. You got to show up. Like we know we don't really look at the gym lifts. We look more at what you do in competition. And like you said, you're going to travel, you're going to go, the variables and like circumstances are going to be different. And you have to show up and just take what you have on a day. So, it is what it is.
And I feel like travel is definitely a very underrated factor when it goes into these competitions. There's a lot of people that may overlook the effect that jet lag and things like that can have. Jay, did that catch up to you at all? Did you feel the effects of the travel, or were you good?
It did, but I made sure. Um, I caught a red eye Thursday. I slept most of Friday. And then, like I said, I started developing cramps on Friday. So I made sure to get more sodium, more potassium in, and like really balance everything. So, I mean, I also coach as well. And also, I study this type of stuff. I study nutrition, I study fitness. So for me, it's like I knew exactly what I needed to do to be prepared. So I made sure to get my rest and like everything was planned around performing my best on that Sunday. And like I was good. Like I didn't cramp up during my session. I actually did better with trying to like hydrate and eat during my session, which has been like something that I've been working on. And I didn't start cramping up until after my session. So luckily I made it through. Like on Friday, both of my hamstrings were cramping up, both of like my calves, and like I was in the hotel room just struggling.
That was weird.
But I didn't tell Big Body. I didn't tell my coach. I knew what I needed to do, and like I showed up, and I was fine on the day. Like I was really strong. Besides bench, but yeah. So, but travel does play a role. I've never traveled that far. Um, I've never traveled across country. The most I went to up to this last weekend was St. Louis. So I went to the Midwest, and then this was the first time I flew across country, and I didn't think I was going to make it because of the turbulence, but we made it. So
Definitely. And I feel like even as simple as getting, I call it travel stomach. Just like when you've been in a very compressed cabin for however many hours, it's and all like the altitude and everything, it's just bound to mess with your stomach and kind of turn everything upside down. Drew, for you being there on the day, obviously handling Q, as everyone knows, I do Q's nutrition, gave him a solid plan going into the day. How was he feeling on the day? Did that have any effect on him? And his performance?
I think we had a well executed nutrition plan. Matt, your video is sideways. Just rotate that.
It's very sideways right now. God, why is it
Extremely
Leave it like that.
sideways? It's extremely sideways.
But Q's nutrition, I think, was fantastic. He was able to put up luckily he was able to eat into the meat, so that wasn't a variable. He weighed in at 101 kilos, which is just a little bit heavier than our last competition. I think he was like at 99 or something kilos. He put up a 750-pound squat. Energy levels were fantastic. The first half of the meet, and then by bench it started trickling off. So I think one of the things that we're going to adjust is intra training, or not intra competition, carbohydrates, just some quick digesting stuff. Hydration was great. This is the first time he didn't have any sort of cramps or any weird stuff going on. Made sure that he was drinking water and electrolytes all day long. Got the food in pre-squats, post-squats, sweets. No caffeine this whole competition. He's been having an upset stomach, which is a variable that we've been trying to work around. So he couldn't take any caffeine throughout the entire competition, which is something that he's used to doing. He just said, "Hey, I gotta lock in, so I'm gonna lock in and do what I'm meant to do while I'm here." So I'm glad he was able to show up and show up to the best of his ability, which was all-time PR total. So that was great. But we definitely have more in the tank there.
For sure. I didn't even look when it was happening. What was the weather? Was it hot?
I would say it was very humid.
We were in the venue the whole time. We were either in the hotel or for a 5-minute walk from the hotel to the venue. My experience of Atlanta on this trip was just the airport, quick shuttle to the hotel, 5-minute shuttle drive, and then a 5-minute walk to the venue. It was all that super local area. And then my only contact with the outside world was to get Uber Eats. That was my Atlanta. Was that?
Oh no, I laughed.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, I think even at one point I was like, what was it, prime time, or even before prime time? It was I guess I got so hungry, bench finish, and then I just got us all freaking Chick-fil-A, and I'm like, no, the vendor's right outside in the venue. You didn't have to go outside and come back with food.
Matt was
I know that wasn't the Sunday session.
He was just you get a sandwich,
No.
get a sandwich.
I was here's a sandwich. Here's a sandwich.
I was literally waiting to go up with my lifter, just put in a number, and I just see Matt come up to me and hand me a chicken sandwich and some chips. And I was just clutch.
It's yes, food.
I hadn't had no water, no food in past 5 hours. I was just oh man.
Chris was actually, let's add 5 keys to that attempt.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, let's add 5 more cheese. The funniest was Mikey D's athlete.
Never mind how you feel. I just got a chicken sandwich, all right? We're going to 5.
We feel better.
Yeah, we all feel better. Dude, Mikey D was trying to give his athlete a chicken sandwich. He was like, "You want some?" He's like, "No, I don't. I'm competing." He's like, "I still got 2 lifts."
Maybe had you given it to a super heavyweight, they would have accepted.
Oh yeah, they would. They for sure would have.
Middle of bench. Yeah.
Jay's on behalf of the supers, yes.
Yeah.
If Jay
yes.
Yeah, Jay, if you got handed Chick-fil-A and you're about to go up, you probably would have taken it.
He would have bet.
That's a pre-gym meal most of the time. If I ain't eating during the day, I'm I use it as an excuse. Oh, I just got to get Chick-fil-A on the way to the gym.
Bro, I don't know how
it works out.
For the gym, I could eat it after. I'll clean that shit up. But before the gym, I can't have stuff like that. I'm just getting Gatorade powder, pre-workout, creatine, L-theanine, whatever. It's just all fluids, bro. I'm only as heavy as I am artificially. It's not real.
No, the only day I can't eat is a deadlift day. I can't eat before deads because that's when you guys have seen it. That's when I'm burping up in between reps or warm ups. That's the only day I can't eat. I can eat on a bench day or a squat day, Do I eat all the time? No, but I can eat on those days. But deadlift, that's where it has to be like minimal anything. Like I can't take anything in.
Mm.
It's too much bloat, honestly, at that point, huh? Like
Yeah,
when you're
or
trying to
it's just
pull.
gonna come up when I lean over.
Oh yeah,
Ugh.
that's probably the worst.
I
As
have to
a
eat a few
sub
hours out from brain just so that that bloat doesn't make me feel like throwing up. Like it's got to
Yeah,
be like lower in my digestive tract kind of thing.
I I
Yeah.
think the biggest issue for athletes that they fail to understand, like intra-training nutrition, is like they the novice lifters just kind of choose anything versus being mindful of like what's compatible with like uh bioavailability and what just complements the stomach well during training. So like quick, fast burning carbohydrates, liquids, things of that nature where you're not feeling bloated. I wouldn't
Hmm.
necessarily recommend like mashed potatoes and gravy and a steak during training. or
That's
like
a
you know
lot
or
of
like
food.
or like some buffalo sauce, some waffle fries, and a spicy chicken sandwich. Um, Typically they just don't understand like it's not necessarily the best choice to have highly packed fatty foods during training. That's where your bloating is going to come from. But if you have like some moderate to low amounts of protein, high carb, should be fine. Like things like apples, Rice Krispies, maybe a cookie you can get away from, like certain protein bars, Gatorades, coconut water, stuff like that is good. Chewy candies, that's like quick into the bloodstream, right? But if you got lobster and the whole nine, butter off the works, I don't
You
know.
had a
I don't
full
think that's a good
course
choice.
meal. I'm
Yeah,
coming
yeah.
to train in 30 minutes.
Just bring out the table, a little bib. Yeah,
Nah, dude.
They thought
No
you were taking
matter
notes.
uh,
Like, wait, I can't have my
no,
baconator pre-training.
dude.
Oh shit!
No,
no, no matter what I
that
do,
was my mistake. That was my mistake. I did that one time. I went to Wendy's, got a baconator, ate. 20 minutes later, tried to squat. That did not sit well with
that's
anything
insane.
here on my chest. I was
That's
just like my
insane.
whole chest. Yeah, I felt like I had heartburn the whole time, and I'm like, oh god, this is terrible.
Yeah,
But I was just
no.
so hungry that I'm like, I'm just gonna get something. Like I thought it was small enough. No, that was not small enough. A baconator. It's like a heart attack on
yeah.
a bun. Like, jeez.
No, you definitely gotta let it settle. But no matter what, like on a deadlift day, I'll do everything right. Like I don't eat like that all the time. I eat pretty much the same stuff. But on a deadlift day, if I drink a Gatorade, if I take my pre and I try to deadlift, I'm like I'm gassy. My stomach is just upset. I'm all over the place. Like deadlift
Yeah.
days, no matter what I put in my system, once I lean over, it's like, hey, it's coming up now, brother.
I think I just like having a Chipotle bowl, honestly, like probably like 3 hours, 4 hours before a training session, and then have like
Yeah, you
a
got
a
money.
water and then a Gatorade, and then do the deadlift. Yeah, I got money. It's okay, well, I give you that. It's like a $16, $18 bowl. Okay, we get it.
It
At
used to be like
Chipotle.
$12, brother,
$18
with the double
bowl. What
chicken.
the
That's gotta be triple chicken for $18, bro. Sheesh.
It's not even
No, that's
triple
the
chicken.
regular price now. That's
It's
not
just
even a double
regular
scoop.
price. Yeah,
Yeah,
no double scoop, no nothing.
that's regular
damn.
price now.
Yeah,
I
and
went with
due
my
to
daughter and
inflation.
I walked out like $55. Like, damn, 55 just on like two regular combo, like regular stuff. 55. Like it was damn near $50. I was like,
It's called
gotta make it at
inflation.
home.
You can go to a sit down restaurant for that price.
Yeah,
Um,
right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but
Hey,
55
Chili's
bucks.
3 for me, 2 for me.
t-
We've been
but
talking about food. We've been talking about food for a
Phillies
good minute.
is goated though. I'm like thinking about what am I gonna eat? Like, okay, great.
but to highlight one of the main points I think everybody has been kind of teetering around is a lot of the intra carb or intra workout carbs and things like that comes down to the athlete's self awareness, right? So they need to be the one that's communicating how they're reacting to certain things. Because as a nutrition coach, I've had people say to me, oh, I felt really bloated or I felt like I was going to throw up. And I'm like, well, what did you eat that was like out of the ordinary? And they're like, oh, I don't know, nothing really. And then we dig deeper and I look into their like My Fitness Pal or something, and they had like 3 plates of Panda Express before they worked out or something like that. And I'm like, oh, it may be have something to do with that. And I'm like, as a coach, I'm like, that's something that I really wish you would communicate with me, because again, I can make an adjustment on the day to help you or give you a recommendation where like maybe increase some fiber intake, which is going to lower the bloating a little bit. It's not going to completely subdue it, but it may help with the feeling, or like working like a ginger ale or something, the old mom trick when you were
Yeah.
trying to say you were too sick to go to school when you were growing up. I don't know if that was just me, but yeah, I feel like the athlete self-awareness is something that can get you from the point of good to great, of knowing how you react to certain things. So, I mean, Chris, as someone who handles a lot of high level athletes, what's your experience with their self awareness and how they're reacting to certain foods and fatigue and things like that?
Yeah, it's a good question. A lot of times with the novice lifters, they're not, they don't have the time duration with properly being educated and working proper protocols for an extended period of time. So all that to say, they don't even know how to feel. They don't even know what they're looking for in terms of like giving their coach feedback. Like for instance, I've had I've had like athletes will like, especially in powerlifting, if you're trying to do this on a high level, you will start to realize that there is a way to eat just like just being a healthy human being. And they'll discover that like they haven't been eating healthy all their life. They haven't paid attention to the details and the tedious things of like meal timing, make satiation in terms of like how to manipulate and use particular foods as tools in order to create proper gut health, digestion, and set you up well throughout the day and for training, right? So they don't even know how to set that up. So that alone, you have to educate them. The more advanced lifters, which you've had time, you've had years in teaching them how to do so, they'll be able to tell you like, yeah, so today, like for instance, I had an athlete that was going through prep, and he was super sick. And because of us having time, understanding food, training, things of that nature, as he was dealing with the flu, going through prep, he understood that he needed to stick to things like chicken broth, high micronutrient, micro, not macro, micronutrient, vitamin, mineral stuff to help him just recover faster from being sick, but also working with like crackers, rice, potatoes have potassium, so it's good on the stomach, bananas, and then we were just trying to get our protein in through liquids. Like that's like the one of the number one rules in nutrition. I'm sure you know, Mike, is uh, you want to work to eat your proteins, right? And the last, the bare minimum is uh, the last option is to get it in through liquids. Understanding these rules and just kind of operating with that, hitting fruits and things of that nature. He had the norovirus and the flu, and he had that for 4 weeks straight. And I mean, I'm sure I talked to Andrew and I've talked to you guys around the gym about how crazy this story was. But all this in short to say, through having that experience, communicating, he knows what he was needing to look for in terms of how he feels, and then communicating that to myself, so then I could give him that information back or just help him with little things. Right? We were able to work together and salvage his meat, and he still had a great meat. But all that is to say, it will take time for the lifters out there that are listening to this podcast. It will take time for you to learn nutrition and learn how to navigate that professionally, just like, or before professionally, just as like a healthy functioning human. Then you get more into the small, tedious details. And nutrition is a lot about small details. And the more you do those things correctly, like again, meal timing, gut health and satiation, hydration, making sure you manipulate that, knowing what foods your body works best with, things of that nature, the better you get with that and learn that, then you can get really good with nutrition as an athlete. And then you actually know how to communicate back to your nutrition coach or your powerlifting coach. And you actually know what you're looking for and how to communicate with them in terms of how you feel. Another crazy example is like I had this one female athlete. She's actually from Atlanta. She did not like water. She didn't like water.
That's
And that
rough.
was like,
That's a rough one.
I was like, you don't like water and we're doing what we're doing? I was like, so what are you having? How are you
Like
living?
Gatorade?
Yeah.
Gatorade?
Yeah, and I guess you just like things like juices and stuff, which is still liquid, but I'm like, you need like just pure water. You need
High
like
quality H2O.
Like you
clean
need some
water, yeah.
H2O in your life.
Yeah. And she was like, I hate water.
Gatorade.
Yeah, she was like, I just hate water. And I told her, listen, this is like a non-negotiation. I don't care what you think. You need water to live, and you need water to function right in training. So you're gonna have to learn how to love water. And she eventually got her hydration back on point, and I started teaching her about, it's okay to have some sodium with your water. It's good for you. It's how you can have water retention, electrolytes, things of that nature. Uh, so yeah, just things like that. Like novice lifters don't even know what to look for, so you have to kind of explain to them and educate them. Like, this is how you're gonna feel. Here's some things you should try. You'll find through these options, what fits and most compatible with your body, your taste buds, and it's just about just finding that right system for all of them. But yeah, it takes time for lifters to know what they're looking for in terms of how they feel and how to communicate that to the coach. The more advanced lifters, like Alba Bostrom, I've had the pleasure of being around her and Joe in the international meets, and she is like, she's different. She's one of the top 63 powerlifters in the world, 63 kg lifters. I mean, when you talk about, uh, you know, meal timing, she has a timer to the second when she's recomping on meet day. So after she cuts, she makes weight. She has a freaking timer, a notebook, a list of everything down the list. And when that timer goes off, it's the next step of what to take. A banana, Pedialyte, whatever the case may be. That what I explained there, that's more so of like professional powerlifter status, right? So yeah, I just wanted to explain kind of like both spectrums of like the novice lifter that just doesn't drink water and didn't know that she kind of needed water versus, and that's not taking a shot at who you are. I love you and all that, but not drinking water is kind of crazy. But we got to
Yeah.
handle it out. And then
It's
you have the other
still
spectrum.
crazy.
And then you have the other spectrum of Alba Bostrom, who's just like top tier in execution, knowing how her body's supposed to feel. And she's super young too. I think she's like 22, 23. And she's doing it a lot better than like a lot of 30-plus-year-olds. So yeah, hopefully that answers gives you kind of two different angles.
It does, and I appreciate both perspectives of that. It paints a really good picture, and I think it also paints a good picture of the coach's role. It's not just programming, right? There's a lot of educational aspect that goes into it, and there's a lot of accountability aspect that goes into it. Like, you probably didn't just tell her to drink more water. You probably followed up and you were like, how's the water intake? Here are some ways that we can up it over time and continue to progress, because a lot of these things have to be gradual, right? It's not just like all of a sudden she's going to be drinking 120 fluid ounces of water when she was going from zero. You need to gradually build that up. And it's all situational too. Like with the athlete who got sick, you obviously, again, you want to eat as many whole foods as you can to get the protein from that source. But in a situation like that, it's going to be much better for the athlete to drink the protein through supplementation than not get the protein at all. 100 times out of 100, it's not even a question. So again,
Right.
I appreciate both perspectives on that. And Jay, as someone who, you mentioned you study a lot of this, and it seems like you're programming a lot of this for yourself. How is that something that you handle for yourself? You gave the example of like cramping and everything, like in the moment, what is your mindset when you're like, okay, something's not going according to plan? How do I handle this?
So like for myself, it's like it's just kind of just I'm like very in tune with my body, whether it's lifting or like food or however I'm feeling. So I know automatically. I just start to think back on the day. It's like, all right, so how I set myself up for failure that day is once I got in, I didn't go grab gallons of water or anything. I was like, I'm gonna nap first, and then I'm gonna go get my waters. So then once I woke up, it was just kind of too late. My body's like, hey man, like we were on this flight, you ain't drinking no water all day, you ain't drinking no Gatorade, like you didn't do anything. So I was able to go and grab water and everything in time. I think I was able to get like a banana or so, but I every day I have like my element packets with me. I keep like pink Himalaya sea salt with me. I buy canisters of Gatorade powder. So I have everything I need. It's just dependent on the day if I actually do what I need to do. So some days I get so busy that my mind slips and I forget to start hydrating or whatever. Like I just get too busy. But once I remember, I'm like, okay, let me lock in, let me start hydrating. I try to balance it out. Like I balance out my water with the electrolytes. Because back in the day, I didn't know. I just was like, oh, I'm drinking water, I'm hydrating, or I'm drinking just Gatorade, I'm hydrating. And then just more research, more learning, and it was like, oh, you have to balance it. Like even on competition day, I made
I
sure
gotta wait, man.
uh,
Good to see his
I
cake.
have. Wait, what?
Oh, no,
Oh,
You got cake?
uh,
I got
we got
cake.
some cake.
It's Matt's dog's birthday. Happy birthday, Rambo. I told him
Happy
I
Oh,
was
I thought he
shouting
was
birthday!
Rambo
throwing
out.
some cakes. Happy birthday! Can we see the cake and the dog?
That dog is like laying the F down right now.
Oh, okay.
Hey
I thought he
man,
was on
you
like.
got you got two super heavyweights in this chat. You can't be talking about cake, all right?
I
Or
can't be
dogs. I
talking
love
about
dogs.
cake. Dog. I didn't speak about cake. I went to go grab water because I'm like, oh man, I drink like 3 waters right now. Like, I need
This
water.
Hydrating.
conversation was a good
Jesus
reminder,
Christ,
Matt.
dude.
Enough about hydration. Let's see that
Yeah.
cake.
I see
Yeah.
that cake.
but no, I just made sure, I got my sodium and my potassium and whatnot. I made sure to get a good amount of water. I made sure once the cramping died down, I started stretching a bit. I took my Epsom salt bath. Um and yeah, and then food wise, I went really simple. I had no choice. I kept ordering from Applebee's. Like they had like a 2 for whatever deal, so I would order some sirloin steak. I had some broccoli. I had some like just some potatoes, something that wasn't gonna go any like crazy. I was trying to hit up the Magic City and get some wings or something, but they said I was doing too much.
I'm
Dude,
still
I would have
disappointed you guys
sucked.
didn't go to Waffle House.
Yeah.
Oh, I went.
You're
I went
disappointed in
Sunday.
us that we did it?
Okay.
Oh,
The
damn.
At
waffles are
No.
really good.
at 2
Dude,
a.m.
Nah, it
honestly,
was. I
nah.
think it was like 11. I
Dude,
was
Okay.
with
if I was competing on that, I would have been disappointed with my meal. I had chicken tenders, and that's it. That was terrible. It was just,
Hey, normally that's me, dog. But I had to play. Dude, they had so much fried chicken available that I had to turn down just to make sure that I was eating just good enough, right? I'm like, I kept going to Uber Eats. It was like fried chicken this, Harry's chicken, Williams chicken, Gettysburg chicken. I was like, dang, man. I love some
it
fried
was a
chicken, but
struggle.
it was too
It
close.
was
It
a
was a
struggle.
struggle, man. And then they had
Really,
pies at
really tested your
Chick-fil-A.
willpower.
They did. I
They had
stayed
pies
strong,
at
man.
Chick-fil-A?
Yes, dude. I didn't get to get no lemon pie, man.
Special stuff.
You like lemon pie?
Yes, brother.
What?
Dude, my mom used to always make me an icebox lemon pie, brother. I eat the whole pie to myself. Key lime
Maybe I need
pie,
to
all
try
that.
it.
Any type of lemon
Maybe,
pie.
if it's from mom's, maybe I need to try it.
My mom passed away, dog.
Well, I would not have known that. My condolences. Don't worry, my father passed away.
My dad did too, brother.
We move forward.
Yeah.
Yeah, we love you. We love you. We here.
Nah, I appreciate you.
My condolences.
Well, before we get on to the second part of the conversation, I'll kick it at Matt. Any final closing thoughts on the experience at Nats?
Experience and that's this one. I would just say everybody had a fun time. Everybody executed as planned. Like this is one of the meets in the books where like it didn't feel like it's like coming into work. Like yeah, we did come into like do a job and execute, but like coming in, seeing everybody, and it felt like just having a little big giant get together. Like as if we're like at a freaking I don't know, like at a park, like say we were at Lake Balboa having a barbecue or something, like everybody just gathering around and hanging out. That's how it kind of like was while we're just powerlifting.
Except instead of burgers, it was fried chicken.
Instead of burgers, yes, it was. Well, Jay couldn't even have it. He's just like struggling about like I couldn't have fried food. Bad.
It felt like a mini vacation where I just happened to stumble across my friends and help them out. Like
Yeah.
it it felt more vacation than work to me.
Yeah, definitely. That's how it felt. Like when me and you, Drew, were flying in, I felt just more so like we're going in like for work purposes and stuff. We didn't realize when we got there it was just gonna be like, oh, we're just gonna have a fun time, kicking it, hanging out with people, and getting the job done at the same time too.
I love that, and I think that's a perfect segue of going into the little side bet that you all have going on. Andrew, you want to shed
Now we
some
taking
light
the
on that
shiesty off.
one?
Well,
what
I already have one bet with Paul and that's it, but we'll see what happens.
Who has
was
the
what
bet
was
with Paul?
The bet with Paul is hit 182.5 kg, which is 401 pounds on bench press at a cop. Obviously, he declined the $400 bet. That was funny because I remember I remember that one was funny, but we're gonna see how that one goes. Let's see who gets the 400 first. Because I always try to egg him on, but I think me egging him on also pushes him to actually get better. And he's been hitting some crazy lifts right now too.
Who has?
Like Forgot the puppy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like he just recently hit what, a
You guys,
640.
you guys got something going on?
Yeah,
first
you were there when we talked about the bench, first to 400-pound bench.
Oh shit, yeah, that's right.
But it's more of just like a gentleman's bet, right? Like there's no money on it.
I thought it was $182 because of the kilos for 182. Yeah.
Yeah, that's how it's gonna be.
I didn't know.
$182
I didn't know
and
you
50
guys were
cents.
doing that. Okay.
And 50
Yeah,
cents.
we couldn't do the first one that Andrew suggested, where it was $400 bet, and I'm like, whoa, like hold up. I was like, hold on. Like Paul's eyes lit up, like he was so tired and sleepy that when you said that, his like life flashed before his eyes, and he was like, whoa.
Gotta have
But
that.
you know, it's a gentleman's bet. It's just gonna get us moving to like push the both of us to like see who is gonna get that lift. And I think that's what we need. Like it's a little like friendly competition, you know,
I will.
with each other.
I will say that from us making all these bets, I mean, for the viewers to understand, like, it's important that they know, like, we're not a bunch of like egotistical males that are just in the gym, like there's a lot more deeper meaning than just seeing it like that on the surface. What I have noticed since um, these bets started in our gym is they're like one of the things that I really enjoy about you kind of seeing the culture of our gym being developed, and that comes from the people that make up the gym, which is everyone's working. Everybody is working and they're working hard. And that's very enjoyable to be around. And it's such a great environment because it's like we talk our shit, you know, it's a sport, man. And for people to be scared to like challenge people or banter, like some of the other lifters in the beginning, this gym that we're in, it's a little over a year old. You know, so you got different people from around LA coming over to visit sometimes. And at first they would hear the shit talking or the banter, and they would look at it as like disrespectful or uncomfortable, whatever the case may be, right? A bunch of big guys talking, saying whatever. Um, but then they come to realize like these guys aren't really mad at each other. They're they're pushing each other to be the best that they've ever been. And in doing that, they're making fun with it with sportsmanship, and they're making gentlemen's wagers, right? We're all grown men. We all make our money that we make, and we're all putting it up for bets to see who is going to prevail and be number one in the challenges we set against each other. Um, you know, I for me, I'm sick. I'm sick when it comes to competition. Like I will bet on myself all the time, and it's more so about showing individuals. Like for me, it's about something that you could not have foreseen. I will show you. I will show you, and I will earn my respect. And that's really what it is for me. More than anything, the money, whatever. The money is like it's plus, but what's most important for me is winning, right? And a lot of people, I think it's really important to know in powerlifting is like a lot of people in powerlifting, they're not willing to work as hard or sacrifice as much. So because of that, when they see the people that are doing that and they're winning and they're reaping the benefits of huge amounts of sacrifice, they try to discredit winning or dumb that down and just say, I'm just trying to have fun. I'm just trying to, I just want to be in this recreationally, which is cool. That's not, if you just want to have fun, you just want to get stronger and you're in this for yourself, more power to you. Definitely, that's one way to go. And a lot of people in powerlifting have that type of mindset. But then you have the others that are sick in the head in a healthy way with competition. And their mindset is, I will do whatever it takes to win because that is what's important to me. And I will have the discussions with my family. They will mold their lives around what my goals are because they support and love me. And we are all together going to work to do whatever it takes to be our very best and for me to be my very best. There are people that also resonate with that. And there's that saying where they say, when you're working for greatness, you will be misunderstood. You will be scrutinized. People won't understand why you do what you do. But going against Jay, going against Andrew, there's a couple other people that kind of want to get in this bet. I'll talk to you guys about later because they see the intensity and all that and the posts we make, whatever the case may be. All that this is doing is literally making us the best powerlifters that we've ever been. It's going to force us to execute as best as we can, whether it be with Jay, conquering your anxiety, making sure you go in and understand, I'm fucking 350 pounds. I'm a fucking brute. Fuck this weight. I'm going to smash this shit. I don't give a fuck about whatever's in my head. I'm hitting this weight. You come in with that type of mentality, you're going to be hard for us to compete against Jay. Andrew, your whole thing is like, if I can master all my duties that I have and just continue to stay consistent, I'm already ahead of both Chris and Jay. It's gonna make it really hard for them to catch me. And as long as you just gotta keep training. And if you do that, you're gonna keep your distance from us. And then for myself, my whole thing is like I talked to you guys before. Like I'm kind of talking about like what we all need to do to come in on the day and make it hard for each other, right? My whole thing is you guys might be ahead on some lifts, but my strategy is if I don't miss a beat and I continue to jump 10 to 15 kgs every week of every push week and every block, I'm going to catch all of you. If I can continue that mathematical gain every week where I'm just jumping big every week, you guys will eventually have to deload or like Panda, I'm using my body weight advantage against you because this is a no dots in the jungles gentleman's bet, right? In terms of
Yep.
it's just a totals bet for everyone to understand. So he's the lightest lifter here, and he'll have obviously the body weight advantage. Somehow if somehow one of us ties him somehow. But my whole thing is I'm bigger than you. You are stronger in some lifts, but I'm just gonna continue to get closer to your top ends. And at some point you'll have some weeks where you can't jump 15 keys again. You gotta jump 7.5 from last week. And if I can get more of those weeks accumulated, I will get closer. And I don't mind explaining like the strategy and setting the playing field. If anything, for those that are listening, they'll tap into this battle because we have a really big battle at the end of the year. And for those that don't know, we're trying to I want to make sure that we pick the best venue. You know what I'm saying? Like we got the money on the table, we got the bragging rights on the table. The fun is already set. Like fun is going to be had on that day. And then we have a beautiful steak dinner afterwards, Unfortunately, though, someone's going to be out of money. But
It's gonna be
with
tough.
all that being said, we all three of us are going to be incredibly strong on that day. And that's the really fun part about it. And so just kind of saying all this again, people understand like, you know, we're all brothers. We're all brothers and we support each other. And as much as we talk a lot of crap at each other and we challenge each other, when Jay or Drew is going, I'm pushing them and I'm rooting for them to hit their best sets and execute their best because I don't want it easy. I don't want them to be sick. I don't want them to get hurt. I don't want none of that. I want you at your healthiest, your most mentally stable and focused, and your strongest. I want your best package. Because when you get that, when our battle is complete, we'll look at each other at the end of the year and be like, there's no excuses. We can't say this happened, oh, the ref. No. We were all our best. And you could just shake hands like true competitors. And that's the type of environment that I like to be around. I like the hardest challenges. I like the hardest, scenarios. Um, and I live for that stuff. If you're a true competitor, you don't shy away from challenge or hard scenarios or hard situations. You sprint towards them because you know what's behind that is being your absolute best. But yeah, that's kind of my introductory explanation and outlook of the lore of our battle. So
Jay, what's your thought process on the battle?
I mean, they already know it. It's they're both battling for second place. So, but nah, it's gonna be a fun battle, man. Like I'm excited. You know, I see Panda was applying some pressure when I was in prep. He was out squatting something crazy, deadlifting something crazy. He don't post his bench because he trying to keep that in the tuck. But
he did
hey,
recently
man.
post the 180. I will
He
say
Oh, he
that.
posted
did post
that.
it. I didn't see it. He
Yeah.
He
showed it to
posted
me. I
that.
didn't see it. Okay,
It moved
bro.
all right. It moved all right. It was all right.
No, it moved really well. Hey, I'm gonna
I'm
just say
I'm gonna try to triple it
it.
next week or
It
tomorrow.
moved. His bench is looking like yours right now, and you said yesterday that you were catching up to my bench, so it means Panda's catching up to my bench too. I don't know, man. I'm just a 435 bencher on a bad day. I don't know what to say. I mean, I have the weakest deadlift out of the three of us. 6'11", squats. I be
He
I
literally
don't know what to say,
ragdolled
man.
295, and just because of
Uh,
You're just
297
downing
and a
all your
half.
numbers. What's wrong?
297 and a half. But
he ragdolled 655 pounds, and he's gonna talk about he
you
got the
know,
weakest deadlift.
hey man, we don't know. I see
Don't let
yellow
him set
cards.
y'all up. Don't listen to that.
Hey man, hey
He's very
man. But
strong.
I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah, you're
just
very strong. You're making yourself down like as if you're the weakest. Like, what do you mean you're weakest? What the hell?
I
Get out of
am,
here.
man. To me,
Must
I'm
be
the underdog, bro.
so bad, but you weigh 350, bro. You literally
350,
just
and
talk in the room.
hey man, it's not enough. What Kendrick said, it's not enough. But nah, it's gonna be a fun battle, man. Like I'm in last place right now, but in the end, I'll come out on top. You feel me?
He tried to set himself up he trying to play the narrative right now.
Hey, man,
Just,
y'all some vets,
just
bro.
do
Y'all
it.
been doing this. Well, Panda been doing this like 10 years. Body been doing this 23 years. This is my third year competing, bro.
23 years?
I'm just,
Three.
hey,
I've been in the
it's
game
been,
since I was 9, kid.
you see, he got the
He's been
most gray
coaching
hair on the
since
call.
15.
40 years experience at 30.
I'm
you
really a
know,
closet 60-year-old. Y'all just didn't know.
we didn't know, man. He doing open and masters at the same time. I don't even know how he do that.
4 years
Sheesh.
deep
Dude.
into coaching, gray hair. Great.
The great A. That's what happened when you coach them young people, man.
They be stressing you out. Matt knows. Matt knows some of the young kids.
Hey, yo.
Some of the younglings, I swear to
I just
God,
want to say really
pulling
quick.
Anakin Skywalker on them. I don't know.
I just want to say really quick. Coaching young kids, man, sometimes, man, it's fun, man. Like, you be like,
It's very fun.
you'd be like, use your belt on primary deadlift day. The next week, they just set them, great session, could feel better, really felt my brace this session. I'm a phenomenal coach, we're cooking. You look at the film, no belt.
No belt.
Yeah. No belt.
You tell them again,
I've
use
had
your
that.
belt. Use your belt, please. Next week comes by. Coach, I felt a little twinge in my lower back. I don't know what's going on. It's like,
Use your belt.
Or when
Dang.
you
No.
give them
belt.
ranges,
Use your belt.
you give them ranges, you send the program, you go over the program, you go over the ranges, and then
Got it.
they overload it by like 20
They
kilos somehow.
overload it.
And be like, I didn't
And
see
then
it.
they gonna tell you, I felt good though. But I
It
felt
felt
good
good.
though.
It
And
felt
then the
good. It looked good. But now next week's gonna be shit.
Next week is when they start strengthening. Hey, that was RP10
Yeah.
and it's week 1. I don't know what happened. It's like, I mean, we talked
Well,
about
I
it,
don't
but
know.
I guess.
I would just I did this one time. I did it with Mark. I was like, well, Mark, if you look at the sheets, it tells you the range. It tells you the RP. I don't understand why you went up. So why do you think it's shit? Because I overshot? Yes, you overshot. So what do I do now? I don't know. I'm fucking gonna have to pull back the RPE for next week, week 2, week 3, and week 4. What else?
Yeah.
I just want to say shout out to all the lifters who adhere wonderfully, extremely coachable, and just make our lives easy. Just do the job well. Like literally, coach, what do you need? All right, I'm gonna do it.
I
Shout
love
out to
those
y'all.
people.
We love y'all.
Coach, I
Matt, you
understood the
couldn't be
plan,
more
but I didn't.
opposite than that person.
I have one opposite.
The chronic undershooter.
No, I swear, Matt
I
will
don't even
take my
think.
advice as opposite as humanly possible, so I have to start playing mind games with him.
That's so true.
I know he's gonna chip my range, so I put the range a chip lower than I want him
Then
to
when it has to
actually
be,
do.
he puts it so much lower, and I'm like, what is this? What is this?
That makes sense.
Where you'll put like 237.5 for his squat, and you're like, no, I'm gonna load the green. Fuck that. And that's exactly him the load.
And then
I'm like,
exactly what
load
happened.
240. Do it. I want you to.
Sometimes,
You make it sound like a villain. I want you to do it. Do it. See what happens.
I'm
sometimes.
going to just say, go body.
No, I was just gonna say really quick. Like for instance, let's say the lifter is good for like a 240 squat on like a week 3, right? We're progressing up. I'll purposely put 237.5 just to challenge their self discipline. I'll just see if they're going to be disciplined. Like, oh man, like I want to just load the green. Aesthetically, it looks beautiful. 4 reds and a green, right? With the regular clip on, no collar. And sometimes I just like I'll see psychologically like what type of lifter am I working with, right? Are you disciplined? This for the new oncomers, right? And I'll just do that just to see like, am I working with someone that just okay? I'm gonna have to teach them literal like this ain't even powerlifting stuff. This is just like personal life things. Like, do you have self discipline, right? So you get to learn that, and yeah, I just wanted to mention that just for the lifters to realize like a lot of the times if you're working with a competent coach, they know what they're doing, and if you just follow their vision, you will get amazing progress. But if you lack personal things like self discipline, self restraint, you could prolong and hurt yourself. And it's not like, oh, 2.5 keys shouldn't make the difference. No, but it's like if your coach sets a range and you can't follow that range and you load instead of 2.5 more keys, you go like 7.5 more keys. Or maybe you misload on like back down work, whatever, and you accumulate that over weeks. It's not the one session that messes you up. It's not following what your coach's plan is for weeks. That is why you will have stagnation in training or issues. So a lot of times, like I think you guys brought this up, and I just want to mention because it's a huge part for lifters to know. If your coach is competent and you just do their plan and you just be an athlete and do your job, your coach can do his or her job, and then you guys can make progress and have fun and things just flow. So I just
Yeah.
want those lifters to, and maybe this helps out a lot of coaches. Like just to tell your lifters, maybe your coach is good. Maybe you just gotta listen, listen,
Based all on experience right there.
and especially if your coach is out here putting up numbers, results. It's like you gotta look at their whole roster you're on, right? Why is your coach just balling out with 99% of all the other athletes on your team? Why are you going through something wrong? Why do you think that is? You should try listening to your coach. So hopefully that helps a lot of coaches out there. I got y'all. I got y'all coaches out there. I got you.
This one's for
No
the
bias.
coaches.
No bias.
Yeah, it's no bias.
On the flip side, sometimes you just lazy and you rather just load the green because it's easier, man. Hey
Oh my
man,
God. You don't
nah.
have to
Sometimes
load it. You don't have to load it
no.
if the program says it. There's a
Look.
reason why we put
Sometimes
it there.
no. Sometimes it's like, okay, load up 4 reds, a black, a 1.5, a 0.5, and a 0.2.5. Like, brother, no, I'm just loading whatever the next. No, I'm just kidding.
So
I'm kidding, guys.
Hold
Listen to
on,
your
hold on.
coaches.
Like,
since,
are you adding up a 0.25 on a 530-pound squat?
Like,
It's
so
not.
what are you
It's not that
doing?
deep.
yeah, no, we ain't doing 0.25s on a squat, but that's crazy. But 2.5 kg less total. If you think about it, that's two. So if you got 4 weeks, right? If you have a 4-week microcycle, if you're 2.5 keys conservative for 4 weeks, what is that times 4? 10 kg. That adds up in terms of recovery. And a lot of times athletes don't think of it that way. They think
No.
of it as just, I'm just going 2.5 keys less for this week. But if we are conservative, we're charging up a top end base by 2.5 keys. It does add up for a long period of time. And that's why lifters don't understand where they'll be like, oh, I was hitting this range for like 8 weeks. And then on the 9th week, I exploded and hit like a 20 kg PR. Well, a lot of that comes from listening, and there's a lot more details that athletes don't understand. So I'm glad you said that, Jay, because I can actually go into detail of the mind of how coaches think and why they do that. It actually leaves a lot more recovery. That recovery accumulates by small increments and explodes into great production and results down the line.
No, I was joking. I implement that for my client. Like, he knows, like you test your client, I test him, but it's more so like when we're talking about the program, I'm like, hey, you're actually good for this. You want to go for it? But he already knows. We've had multiple conversations, and he's like, no, I'm gonna just trust the process. I'm gonna stick to this because I know if I just do what you gave me now, when it comes time to do what we need to do, I can do it. And it's been the case. So it's like he knows I purposely, like you said, we're managing fatigue, we're managing everything, we're managing the PRs, and like it's a process, it's a plan, we're managing the macros and everything's planned out. So like he understands that. And sometimes I'll test him and I'm like, hey, you can load this instead. And like he's so
Hmm.
disciplined to this point that he's like, nah, dude, like, I'm gonna just do what you gave me. Like I understand what it's for. So I joke around like that, but it's
Yeah.
but sometimes, but yeah, man, that fatigue management
And
is one thing, man.
Yeah, I have an athlete that does that a lot where like I always tell them like, like you could have hit a little bit more. You could have hit a little bit of this. And they always attest to that like, like I want to be a great athlete to you and I just want to impress you because you're the coach. You brought up the plan. I'm just going to keep it a little bit within the RP based on how I feel. And even then, like, yeah, I could go up, but I know you have a plan for me leading up to when it's the week 3 or week 4, like heavy singles or heavy top set doubles or something like that. That when it comes to that point, then he can he can communicate back to me like saying, "All right, coach, we got this going on. What do you think I have for today?" And then that's when I would evaluate and tell him based on his warm ups of how I think he should hit during his training day and still keep it within the pocket.
Yeah.
And I think that's what I love more about athletes' feedbacks is that I always say that like it's best that you have communication and communication is key when it comes to a coach and an athlete's relationship all the time. Because if you have an athlete doesn't send you stuff, doesn't communicate with you, and you're still writing up plans with them, then it's like you're being forced as the coach to be like, hey man, like what is going on today? You're not filling out this. You're not sending me a video of this. I can't necessarily like pinpoint or strategically plan what can we do to progress for the next week or the next block further. But
I, I want to
we
say
see that a
something.
lot.
I want to say something to that really quickly, actually. I think this is really good for coaches to know too about like setting a standard on your roster. For me and where I'm at in my career, like in 3 years, I'll be in this game for 10 years as a coach full time. where my head is at now and where my athletes are at, I've worked to establish the culture where my athletes understand that we're not wasting time. And I I will naturally, just by who I am and how I coach, I will be able to motivate you all. But there will be time, and that's what is a great part about being a great coach in sports is being a great motivator and a great teacher and things of this nature. But at the same time, if you're a great athlete, if you're a great competitor, you have to find ways to motivate yourself, but also you have to find ways to be successful when you're not motivated and get things done when you're not motivated. So as far as like athletes like filling in their nutrition logs or filling in their training logs or reporting to you or sending their training every training day or whatever the case may be, as like most of my roster, I think I have like 2 or 3 teens left. The most of them have aged out to juniors, and juniors have aged out to open. But um, most of my lifters are grown individuals. They're adults. I don't have time to do those little things that you as an athlete are responsible of. I shouldn't teach you or tell you how to be an adult. If you're paying me, this is supposed to be important to you. Everyone on my roster understands that I'm paying this professional coach to receive a service and achieve particular goals. It is up to my job, it is up to me, and it's my job to make sure that I hold up my half of the bargain in reporting that information, logging in that information, communicating, reaching out to my coach. My coach has a job that is due to the entire team. So we have to also do our job as athletes to report to our coach. I work with Coach William Squats. He's the first coach ever hired um, from Flex Training Systems. I delegate my programming to him so that he can navigate his plan. I can't justify for myself programming for myself when I always have training blocks to do for my team. So that's why I delegate to another coach that I trust. He's the only coach I've worked with. And so I know as an adult and as a 30+ year old, right? When I train, I edit that set in the session and I send it right when it's complete. That way, when the session is done, he's got everything he needs, and I don't even have to worry about it. It's none of that. Oh, I got busy, or family happened, or my job called me in, or no, 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 no. My job, my roster understands that we are very, very serious over here, and all of your teammates are holding up that standard of responsibility, due diligence, and being punctual and just giving the coach what they need to help you. Um, and I think it's very important for lifters to know that. Like, you got to understand what roster and team you're on and what type of coach you're working with. And so I say all this just to say to close out that uh, I want at this point now, I want to work with athletes that are serious. I want to work with athletes that want to be great. You don't have to tell them, to be responsible and things of that nature. And it's important that you got to understand that as a coach, you're not going to be able to coach everyone. And you also need to let it be known that there's a particular type of lifter you want to work with. That's okay. You know what I mean? It's not about trying to bring them in, bring them in, bring them in. Get all the athletes that you can. There was a time in my career where I had 96 lifters, and then that time frame it let me understand what cap I like to set for my roster. But then that brings more value to your roster because then you only have a certain amount of slots that you can hold, but you also know the threshold where you can do your best work as a coach. And those athletes don't want to let you down. They don't want to lose that roster spot, and they all are holding up a standard that you set on your roster. Um, so I think these things aren't really talked about, and I think it's extremely important for athletes to know. Like, you got to know what roster, what coach you're working with, what roster you're on, how are your teammates, and what's the standard being upheld. And if you're a athlete that's doesn't see that responsibility, punctuality, those type of things are important. I don't know. I don't know how much success you're gonna find with the type of coach that doesn't hold you accountable and uphold those type of standards. And those things are also um, the lifters. The thing that I'm prideful about is that my lifters are prideful about being on my roster because they're like when they see all of their teammates progressing doing big things on big platforms and putting up big numbers, they have no excuse. You know, if someone's falling back, they're like, okay, I'm falling behind in the standard. I got to pick my stuff up. I don't want to let my coach down. I don't want to let my team down. And I want to make sure that we uphold that high level production. And it's contagious. And so if you can create that for the coaches out there that are listening, if you can create that wave and that culture on your roster, it's contagious and it's a positive thing. And I think that we need more of that in powerlifting where we're not enabling lifters missing the mark in terms of the things I spoke on. So I thought it was very important to kind of touch on that because I don't really hear it talked about too much in the sport.
Yeah, and it's definitely good to have standards and set those parameters, and especially for yourself as a coach to be a specialist in your field, right? It's like you can help anybody, but you want to help that particular group of people because it may be your firsthand experience or you're working with them specifically and things like that, and you can get them that next level of results. So it seems like everybody's a specialist these days, which is great for the client because they're getting the higher level of service, although it may sometimes come with a little higher of a price tag. But speaking of price tags, I do want to steer us back to the bet before I jump off quickly. But Drew, I wanted to hear your perspective on the bet and your thought process of, I guess, Body is positioning you in the lead as it stands today. So they're nipping at your heels, I guess. What are your thoughts on that?
So I don't think we officially went over what the bet is. But for those of you who are not aware of what our bet is, me, Jay, and Body have a 3-way bet, potentially more people jumping on. Whatever gets us to $1,000 pot, plus the people who lose have to take the winner out to like a fancy steak dinner and pay for whatever they order. The competition is going to be set for sometime by the end of this year because that just works out best with everyone's schedule that's going on. I understand that Jay and Body are going to be doing a local competition in June at our home gym. That does not count towards the bet at all. That's more so just like touch-up meet for fun, home gym meet kind of thing. And I think that's going to give us some better clarification, or not clarification, but a better indication of where everyone's training is heading. So I think that'll be a nice point to touch on after the competition. With what you were saying, Mike, that I'm being positioned as the person in the lead. I don't see myself as that. I'm never gonna see myself as like, oh, I'm winning, because for one, that allows for complacency. Two, it makes me not as excited as a competitor because I'm like, no, these people, I have to take them serious and I have to bring my A game, right? If I'm slacking on training, slacking on nutrition, that's going to be exposed on the platform, and there's no hiding it when your numbers or your results, your lights show that you have been training hard and up to standard. Okay. I bet on myself, so I do believe that I'm going to be the winner. It's by total. Earlier, Body, you said that like if it's like a match total, I'll win based off of body weight. I want this to be a straight bet, as in assume we're all the same weight. It's total only. So like if it's 800, I can't match the 800 for a poll and be like, I won because of body weight, because that's never what this bet was about to begin with for me. It's total for total. So if someone of you guys gets 820, I have to pull for 822, assuming that I'm pulling last for that win. Because I know that those pulls be getting up there, boys. But with that said, I think there's plenty of time for us. We have about half a year till we compete, and a lot can happen in that time. Jay, you've competed quite a bit recently. You have lots of momentum on your side. Your total has been growing like crazy. And Body, you have the biggest wealth of knowledge compared to like everyone here, right? You do this full time across however many athletes, and you've been competing, and you have been an athlete in powerlifting for just as long as any of us here or longer. So that's what advantage I see on your side. And then for me, I got Joey Flexx in my corner, baby. So that's all the advantage I think I need. But I think Joey has a great understanding of my training. I've been working with him since 2018, and I think that is a gigantic advantage. Like, regardless of which coach you have, having the same coach for a prolonged amount of time that has a proven track record of success, not just for others, but for you, means that you're going to have very predictable training and predictable results when it comes to competition day. And I think that's the advantage that I aim to utilize, that I can have high predictability and consistency when I'm on the platform. I did want to point out a hit rate. So before this call, we were kind of shooting the shit, and I was like, I want to point this out. And over the last 6 competitions I've had, the whole time I've been under Flexx, I think this is since 2018, I've hit 52 out of 53 lifts, 98% hit rate. So I just want to put that out there. If I load it up, you best believe that there's damn near a 100% chance I'm going to hit that lift. The one lift that I missed also was not on strength. It was a up-down near the top of my deadlift. So if Joey calls it, if we discuss the numbers beforehand, you best believe that those numbers are going to be executed.
I will say, working next to Joey, he'll attest to this too. One of the things I know is that no matter how much experience you have, no matter how much wealth and knowledge you have, no matter how much experience you have in competing, the one thing that we do on the day when we compete is we force that grip. We force those fingertips. We're going to test your strength. We're going to test your belief, and we're going to test every ounce of your execution. So just know that this will be different at the end of the year. What you load, it's going to be I'm not sure if I have this, but I'm going to try type of load. That's all that is my goal. When we go to third attempts, you're going to be the guy that pulls last. And I know that. So I know the strategy of what a subtotal specialist needs to have. But in the meantime, you guys see how fast this deadlift is coming back up. Very, very fast. So as long as I'm close to you, I'm letting you know now, there's no secrets now. I'm going to force that grip. Both of you. I'm going to make you have to pull something that you don't know if you have it. That's what, and if you get it, where we getting steak? Where we going? But if you don't, I want mashed potatoes, mac and cheese. I want butter garlic mushrooms. I want a tomahawk steak because I've never had one in my life, and I want a butter raspberry cake, all from Mastro's. And I might want a wine too. I think I might want a bottle of wine. But
That
just
sounds
know
like
that
right,
grip
so just
will
order
be tested.
me.
That sound,
He's
Jay.
like, I'm testing. He's like, I am
Jay goes, so you said
Look, man.
buttercream mashed
He's strategizing. He's strategizing.
Look, man. Look, Andrew's in the lead, right? Andrew's trying to like talk down like he showed up at my last competition with like
What's the numbers?
for what? What y'all gonna do?
Yeah. So Andrew, like what Jay? Andrew's like he's like at a 683 squat. He's like at a 407, 413 bench, and then he's at about a 322, 327, or sorry, 722 to 727 pound deadlift. So we just want the people to know the context.
Those are a little high. Those are a little high.
Nah,
So what's your
don't be
deads? What
modest.
you say you got for deads?
705, 711.
Saying, what do I have? What do I think I'm gonna have on the day, or what do I?
Oh yeah, let's go. Yeah, let's go now with our predictions of what y'all think y'all gonna have.
Because you want to see what numbers to strategize around.
No, I already have it in my notes.
Jay's
I already
taking
have it
notes
in my
on his
notes.
iPhone right now. What do I
No,
got?
no. You want me to? I'll go to my notes and say what I think y'all have. Body, I undershot you because I just undershot you because I like to make you mad. So Panda, I think you said like a 195 bench. I got you
I
at
think.
a
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
317 and a half squat, 330 deads. So 842 and a half total.
That
And
looks
then
pretty
body, I
good.
got you at a hey body, hey, I just need to see you work, brother. I got you at a 200 bench, 295 deads, 295 squat, 790 total.
Wait, say it again.
200, 295, 295.
Okay.
Hey, but that could be in June. Who knows? I don't know at the end
That's
of the
gonna
year. I
be
got to see more.
that
I got to see more.
that's gonna be June. That's gonna be June. That's just
That's
June. If you think
790.
that that's end of year,
Hey, look, man, you got Germany, you got like trips, and I don't know. I need to see more top end. I haven't seen your top end, so I need to see that. Shit. For
that's
myself,
the
I
thing
mean,
though.
look, man.
That's the thing though. I'm showing training, but you don't know what the top end is.
What do you think? What are your
Bro's on
predictions,
that
Body?
Taylor Atwood hiding his training, bro.
No. I mean, I just posted my weekly highlights today. Yo, you guys saw that. I don't know if you saw it yet. I post my shit every week. I'm not hiding anything. I'm on the story. I'm on the
Yeah, but
post.
like that squat was coming off of like 2 hours of sleep for a week, bro. So I'm like, ah. And then
Good thing.
I'm not seeing you push anything at bench. Like your 350s, 380, it looked good, but once you start going over 420, it moves different. I'm not saying you. I'm just saying in general. Once you start benching like
No,
that,
that's fair.
yeah.
I want you to believe what you believe. That's
No,
it.
no, no. I'm about to see you
That's
in
it.
June, brother.
That's
You about
it.
to
That's
get a
it.
like third, fourth place in June. So
It sounds good. It
Four.
all
We don't
sounds
even
good.
have four people. What the fuck?
It's not even forceful.
Hey, Body, what's your predictions for us two? I think you just no. Jay said what he thinks I have. Oh no, you
For
said
all of
what
us,
you have. What's your prediction for Jay? I think it's fun if we predict each other's numbers.
what do I think you guys are gonna hit in our meet?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so for Jay, I'm gonna go. For Jay, I'm gonna go 322.5 on the squat. On the bench, I'm gonna go 210 to 212.5. And then on the deadlift,
Jay's just straight dying.
I'm gonna go 330.
Damn.
I get myself less, except for bench, bro.
Jay took the bench personal.
What? Add that up real quick. Add those top ends real quick. Someone add that up. Who's got a calculator with them? Oh, because I'm on my phone right now.
My phone's my
I'm
camera. So
saying my phone's my camera too.
Mike, you mind
All right,
doing it?
All right, hold on.
would
All right,
you
yeah.
say you
Say
said
the numbers again.
Okay, so go 322.5 on the squat. Let's go plus 212.5 on the bench. And then let's go plus 330 on the deadlift.
It's kind of nutty. It's like
865.
What is
fucking
it?
shit.
865.
865.
Okay.
I had myself at that, but the bench was different, and I had less on squats and deads. In this thing where I made up the three of us, we had the same total.
All right, and then
Oh,
for Andrew, I'm gonna go. For Andrew, I'm gonna go 325 on the squat. I'm gonna give him 192.5 on the bench, and I'm gonna give him 340 on the pull.
I like those numbers too. All right, I gotta not
Damn.
let you down, Body.
So
What's
Jay,
that come out to?
Damn.
857 and a half.
857. Okay.
So Body has me predicted and he says he's gonna win. So I'm last in this for his thing. That's crazy work.
If you ain't
He gave
first,
you
you're
50
last.
more keys than I did.
And
Damn.
as for me, I'm gonna tell you this. I don't know.
I don't know.
All right, let me give you
We gonna have
updated
to
bodies.
see.
He already said he's gonna squat 7 before me, so we're gonna go 317 and a half is what body's thinking for himself. He said he gonna out bench me, so he looking at
What you got
227
on
and
the
a
squat?
half.
What you got on the squat? What'd you say on the squat?
317 and a half. Because you said you're gonna squat 7 before me. You said you're gonna bench 5 before me, so he's already thinking 327 and a half. And then he said first to 330, so he thinks he
Wait,
got
327
330.
on
So
bench?
no,
Sheesh.
227 and a half. You said you was gonna
Oh.
bench more than me.
Uh-huh.
You said you was gonna hit 5 before me, and then you said you was gonna pull 330. So we got you at 875,
Yeah, we
buddy.
have bets. We have bets on all that. But what? Yeah, tell me what you believe I'm hit. I want to hear both of you. What? Be honest. If you see my shit's trash, If you think I'm squatting 180, benching 180, and deadlifting 180, let me know. But yeah, Jay and Drew, what do you predict I'm gonna hit at our meet at the end of the year?
All right. Let's see. I think I haven't. I'm the one who hasn't given predictions yet. So
Wait,
body.
hold on. But Jay, I didn't get yours clear. You said 317, and then you think I'm gonna bench what?
You said you were gonna bench 5 before me, but
No,
I'm
I'm
thinking
asking
bench,
what
bro. I
what
gave you what I think. I think minimum 200 for bench. I just need to see you touch over 200 like a few more times before that date, right?
Okay, so you got 317,
Squats, I'll
200.
probably give you like deads. I don't know, man. Your deads, it's just hard to judge, bro. Like the way you move the weight is just different. So probably like a 310-ish. It's hard to judge your deads.
So you cut out on the squat. What'd you say on squat?
310. No, wait,
So three.
squat. I think squat and dead's probably 310.
So 310. That's 620. So 820. He's got me at 820. All right.
825. I gave you extra 5 on bench.
All right. What do you got, Drew?
For you guys or for myself first?
Oh yeah,
I'm
sure.
gonna.
Give this.
I'll do myself first.
Yeah.
So I'm more pessimistic with numbers across everyone, and then the goal is to beat that. So for myself, my goal for this year is to squat 7. But I may play it to keep the to basically stack the total. So I may do like a 315. Oh no, 317, 315.
Yes.
315, 94.
370. Oh, okay.
Yeah, just like slightly under what I think I can do. 15, 190, 332. I don't know what that comes out to. We don't have Mike to do the numbers. He had to step out now. That's and then
315.
body. I think you're squatting at least 300 by the end of the year. I'm gonna say 305. Let's say 205 or 207, and pull. I'm saying 302.
So you got.
This is assuming all same body weight, right? We're all same body weight. Okay.
Like not getting bigger.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay. Or that's what my assumption was. And then
What was your
for
dead, Panda?
current or prediction for myself?
Oh, no. What was your bench you said? Prediction bench for you?
190.
Okay.
Because like I know how the stats are, and third bench is the most missed lift by far compared to like any of the other lifts, followed by third deadlift, and then people seem to get third squat most of the time compared to the other. And then for you, Jay, I'm gonna say you're squatting. What's 700? I'm 317.5, benching 2 15, and pulling 3. What's the blue? 6 3 10.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I don't know what this comes out to. I don't know what the total comes out to. But
so
this is what I think you guys are gonna have the strength to hit on the day. Then it's gonna come down to like who executes, and that's the game day performance thing. Like it's literally gonna be a battle of if you miss, you better hope the other two fucking miss, or you're like not in the running no more, you know? And then I also think that I don't have a great understanding of what Chris's top end looks like. Because you peak really well, and I just haven't seen you peak in a minute. And Jay, I have a decent understanding, and because you literally are giving us data points every like 4 or 5 months of where you're competing. But yeah, I actually think, Jay, and I'll say this out for whoever's watching the pod, I think you're going to be the strongest person of the three of us on the day. But I'm telling you this now as your friend. I'm going to play mind games with you, bro. If you're not locked in here, I'm going to beat you.
That's the thing, bro. I already figured it out, dog. What I keep saying is up. But you had yourself at 837.5. You had body at 815. You had me at 842.5. So this is the
Okay,
thing.
those was what I thought. Yeah.
Nah, yeah, I had you at 842.5. But I get it. But this is the thing. So we have these data points for myself, right? But do we really though? Like me and Pumpskie are still like figuring things out. We're still tweaking stuff. But I think June is gonna be a good indicator. So body, that'll be our first head to head because we're in the same weight class, but our second competition together. But yeah, I think we're all settled. Like I think body gave me more on squat, but I'm like for myself, I'm like if I could hit the 317.5, I'll be happy with that. Bench, you guys are like, yes, the last few competitions that you watch, it makes sense to say what you said for bench, but we're kind of undershooting it, guys. But I appreciate that. And then Deads, man. So
I mean, a
yeah, but
468-pound bench, I feel like that was a compliment. But
nah, I
I
Yeah.
mean,
feel it.
if
I
you
appreciate that.
if you prove it otherwise, I mean, shit, more power to you, and I give respect to that. But what I will say is, it's gonna be good, and I think y'all are gonna be a lot more surprised, which is common because there's so many times we pull up to meets and people be like, we'll hear the coaches, we'll hear the opponents, the opponent's coach literally say, it happened this past week, the past Nationals week. I didn't think he was gonna hit that.
Well,
And we be
that's why
like,
this shit is fun.
we thought he was gonna hit that.
Like
But
like
it's gonna be good.
competition day is what matters more than any of your gym PRs or any of that other stuff. If you're the weakest lifter but you win on the day, are you really the weakest lifter?
And
Like
No,
this is not a shot. This is not a shot to like, we'll see those, those phenom young lifters that hit these monstrous singles in training and pull up to meet day and just hit 50 keys less. Literally. And that's not a shot. That's not disrespectful. What I just said, if I was on ESPN as an analyst, that was an objective statement. That actually happens. Like, these kids is out here hitting, like, you sitting here as an old 32-year-old, like, how the fuck is he hitting that? And then you pull up
nah,
to meet
facts.
day, and it's substantially less, right? And again, there's reasons to that, and I'm not gonna speak on anything else, but um, what you do in the gym, all that is to say, what you do in the gym is not what you'll do on the platform. It's completely different. So, it's
okay,
gonna be
I can
fun.
ask you this. How close are your guys' top end gym lifts from your comp lifts?
Until
How close?
recently, well,
I'm not
my
gonna lie to
Well,
best
you.
even
squats
Go ahead, Jay. Go ahead, Jay. Good.
my
yeah, go
my
ahead.
best squats and deads are always in competitions
Nice.
until the end of last year. My best bench, it was always for me, my best lifts were in the competition. um so until recently with bench, like we just got to figure out on meet day, but that's the one that's kind of just, I know that I have more. So that's like the thing. But before, it was always, we do far less than training, which we do for deads and squats still, even bench for the most part. And then when we go in, it's always all right, now we're peaked and we're gonna do more. So, but I mean actually, sorry guys, my best dead is in training. I hit 280 on deads in training, and my best deads in the competition is 277.5. So what am I talking about? But squats, my best squat was 287.5, and we did 295. So
Yeah. So for me, I mean, Andrew, I already know how your lifts show up. When Joe's sleeping at night, I sneak into his office and I go look at your lifting profile and programming. So, uh, make sure no one knows that. But um, no, for me,
Sabotage.
yeah, I go in and I sabotage your program. He doesn't know, but spam sets of tens. But
So that's why you
no,
had
for
an
me,
AMRAP on squats.
I believe that my lifting has been suppressed due to prioritizing coaching. Like, we're coaches first. but it's not an excuse. I'm just objectively explaining, like for instance, after a full week of nationals this week, I came in right off the flight and I hit 170 for a triple, and it probably moved that RP 9.5. So I probably didn't have another rep in the tank, but that's also like I had like 10 plus hours of travel. I left Atlanta at like 5. I left the Airbnb at 5 in the morning in Atlanta. I had 5 hours of sleep in the past 72 plus hours. So those are all notable things. So when you're experienced and savvy, you understand like these are my variables. It doesn't stress me out or whatever. I know that when I get collected days of 9 to 10 hours of sleep, proper protein intake, hydration, things are more controlled with recovery. Like next week, so although I moved very slow on the 170 triple, I'm planning to go up 10 keys tomorrow. I'm planning
Damn.
to hit 180. So a 170 at 9.5 tomorrow. I'm planning to be 180 around 8.5. But the difference is the variables. So when you know that and you're more savvier and experienced, you don't really get stressed out. So that's why that would be warranted. And those are real things in which I speak of. So yeah, I mean, towards the end of this week, like I commented on my post about my week 2 triples highlights. You know, I pulled 474 for a triple um at in Atlanta with all those variables, right? And then I come in yesterday and I jumped 20 keys in a week. And so I hit what was it, 518 for a triple. I'm planning next week to hit 550 for a triple. That's my all-time best PR ever. And you guys know I've explained to you how I peak. I don't need to hit me hitting big loads in rep work in training doesn't translate how it would for the smaller lifters. For super heavyweights and heavyweights, we have a different peaking effect because of how much mass we hold. So there's a greater launch effect. So you might see me hit some shit that you'd be like, I could do that for a set of 7. I don't need to hit that for a set of 7 to have what you have on the top end. I just need to hit it for like 3-ish reps. And then the peak and the taper will do the work. So with that being said, if I hit, I think I'm going to come in and load 550 for 3 next Saturday. I think it's there. Because I felt really fucking strong yesterday when I tripled 520. So I'm jumping big. That's my strategy, like I talked to you guys about. I'm making huge jumps. Like you might be ahead, but of the past 3 blocks, coming from scratch, like literally Europe trip, Sheffield, no training for like 10 days. And before that, I had another 2 weeks of no training because I was dead from norovirus. I just kept up with everything and consistently since then, these past 3 blocks, I've strung together like constant progression. And if I just keep that going for another 3 blocks, that'll be a half year. So to answer your question and giving you full details so there's no surprises, I think that I'm at peak deadlift strength right now. It's just not being shown because I'm hitting more of the like mid-range to sub-max work. Bench wise, I think I'm at the cusp of. I think I'm right at 200 keys on bench. I'm fucking flirting with it. And I still am gonna have 3 more blocks to go before June. And then for squat, I've just been taking it chill just to like really build up my top end capacity. And I had some really bad quad and hip issues from the past prep because I was pushing really hard. So I'm approaching preparation this time a lot differently, and I'm coming back fast. I feel really strong and healthy. So all this to say, I think bench is about to hit all-time new strength levels. Deadlifts we're flirting with a PR, and then squat is like almost there. So just so y'all know, and I'm not hiding nothing. I'm sure I'm letting you know everything, and I'm showing up straight up with what I got. So that's where I'm at.
I appreciate that both y'all are showing up with like first like the mindset to win, and you're training your asses off. Like I think aside from who we think is gonna win, I think we're all just seeking like competition, right? We want real, true competition. And you touched upon this earlier, Body, and you're like, the money is cool. It's a cherry on top thing. For me, I'm like, money, like the money would be great. That's cool. I just want to battle. I want it to be a close, like well fought battle. That's something that we worked up for. I want us to all be at our very best or our very strongest. So at the end of the day, whoever wins is like, okay, I was able to just edge them out by working a little bit harder or having these variables in check just a little bit more than the other guy. Right. And to me, like competition is such a blessing. Like to actually have people that train in your same gym that are able to put up numbers that keep you like on edge, that you're like, damn, I need to work harder. I need to do more. Like that 100%. Is such a big thing for me. And I just want to first off express appreciation. And I also realize we're like at the 2-hour mark on this stuff. Yeah. So
you've been here for a while.
To wrap it up a little bit too. Yeah, I've been having a good time.
We're just shooting the shit.
I think we should maybe run another pod either after you guys compete in June or perhaps like close to when we compete at the end of the year. And we still got to pick which comp to do. I think that's going to be a good idea to just have a set date in mind for many months in the future so that we have a goal to work rather than some arbitrary sometime in the last quarter of the year, you know? So we'll figure out that date and then we'll lock in. We'll have another pod. And at that point, it's going to be pretty interesting because we'll be like, yeah, man, you predicted this, but you're kind of here right now. So I don't know if you've been on your shit, you know, you called your own numbers.
I think it would be good if we did a midway one after June. I think that would be good. We do a midway one. I think that would be good. But, no, I had tons of fun. Thanks for having us. Go ahead.
Yeah, it was great. I agree. Let's do another one after June. I won't be competing, but I'll be reffing you guys.
He'll be trying to sabotage us.
This man's even more sabotaging. Like, let me see. Did you guys hit that?
Like,
he's gonna be holding the red button.
Do this, so like, give you a
sabotage coming.
Just expect Drew to be holding the red button, hovering over it, just like I'm ready, just in case.
You see a red light before you even hit the platform. Wait, what's that all about? Nah, don't worry about it, bro. It's a glitch.
Yeah, don't worry about it. It's already given.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll wrap it up. First off, I just want to say, are there any final remarks before we wrap things up?
I was gonna say.
Good.
I was gonna say, man. I mean, we all like Henry. We all like Exceed. If it's the California State Championships, maybe if it's at a different venue, November 1st, that's before Thanksgiving, before Christmas. I'm just saying. Hey,
that's another one. That's another one.
Panda, you should eat into the 120 pluses. Go ahead.
Me?
No, I was gonna say you should eat into the 120 pluses. So whoever wins the battle, it's the state champion of the weight class.
That's cool too.
Oh, that would be fun. Well, I mean, I'm gonna be competing as a super regardless. But what I do want to say is, for me, I want to make sure that like I was telling Andrew, when we did our last state championships, that shit was amazing. Like it was up in the Bay, and we actually had a real venue, and it felt like a mini nationals. It was live. Yeah. It was crazy, like crazy hype.
That was hype.
So I don't want to just be in a small, like, you know, in a small area compared to that or a gym. I want to be in a larger, like, hype venue. So, like, you know, if it's something like Vegas or something in Cali, north, mid, or south, right? I want to kind of do more so that. And we still have plenty of time. And I just want to kind of open your guys' minds up to that too. And we can set it up like we've done plenty of times before. We've done Airbnbs where we set it up and it was super fun. It was like a whole trip. But I'm just kind of expressing what I'm looking for. If there is nothing in terms of that, and it's got to be compacted and refined to a gym, and then we got to do Exceed, then I'll do that. I definitely want to I want, like, the setting, I want it to be a big setting. You know what I mean?
No, that's why I said if it's a different venue, that could be the one. Like if they decide to do it at Exceed and get a venue because it is the state championships,
for sure,
November 1st, that's it. But yeah, of course, if it's just at Exceed, then it's like, and let's go do something else. And not like, no offense to Exceed, but it's like, we want to, it's a big battle. We're hyping it up. We're months out. So it's like, hey, it's California State Championship. If it's at a bigger venue, let's do it. That could be it. But yeah, if not, then hey, man, I'm always down for a Vegas trip.
Yeah. As for me, final remark: don't slack.
You there?
Don't slack. Don't slip.
I don't think
Don't
you got
slip.
word. Matt, you want to close us out, bro?
Thank you guys for joining us for our little pod. Like getting some good feedback on like how everything went. Hope to do it again, and let's plan it. Let's do one mid-June, and we'll come back and see what the updates are. All right.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having us.
Sounds good. Thank you guys for having us.
Hey, you boys.
Thank you guys. Have a good one.
Peace.